If you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, what does the new DACA rule say? How does the new DACA rule affect me? And as you may know, with DACA, we've gone through so many ups and downs since in the last few years. The new rule from Biden that was submitted for public comment last year in November, we were hoping for some good news. And recently, the new rule was published. It won't go into effect until about October. But now that we have the new rule, what does it say? So here on my screen, I do have pretty much, they're just excerpts. One is from DHS, Department of Homeland Security. The other one are just from two nonprofits that do a lot of work analyzing what immigration says. And, of course, they're going to say, all the reasons why DACA is good. Thanks to DACA, young people have been able to contribute to the community and to our country. All the reasons why we should have DACA, we should continue having it. This is what is the big change. And pretty much it just says it maintains the existing threshold for DACA, meaning that, you had to have entered the U.S. before you were 16. You have to have entered before 2007. We were hoping that it would change that threshold. Maybe it would be, instead of 16, it would be 18. Instead of 2007, it would be like 2009. Unfortunately, that remains the same. Retains the existing process for DACA requesters to seek work authorization. So nothing new right there. And affirms the long-standing policy that DACA is not a form of lawful status, but that DACA recipients are considered lawfully present. In terms of immigration, like just having DACA alone, it does not create a pathway to residency. It does not provide a lawful status. It is not like having a tourist visa, student visa. It's just, you're lawfully present, but being lawfully present does not provide any further immigration benefit, okay? The rule is effective October 31st, 2022. About 2 months in the future, something could change, From now until then, we don't know. But in terms of like new DACA applications, it's still the same. You can submit them, but USCIS is not going to approve them. They're just going to have them there, in line, waiting until, or if something happens, right? And I also like the ILRC. So they do a lot of good work. They provide a lot of useful legal information. They condense it. So if you're looking for information, I also recommend going on their page. What impact does it have? Individuals who currently have DACA and those whose DACA expired less than a year ago, you can still apply, you can still renew, no problem. But it does not change for individuals who are applying for the first time, who can request DACA now. Same thing as it was before. People that have DACA or it recently expired, you can renew. Does this rule change anything for DACA? No. The requirements remain the same as they were since June 2012. I mean, basically, the big thing that, like legally, in terms of like the DACA program itself, the requirements, there isn't really a big change. There's maybe, a little bit more explanation on a few things, but there's not too much of a big change in terms of who can apply. Can more people apply? The big change is more just legally, Before it was just an executive order. So what one president put in place, another one legally could take away. The lawsuit that ensued when Trump was saying we're going to take DACA away, the argument wasn't Trump does not have the power. They weren't arguing that. They were just arguing procedurally. The way he did it wasn't the best way. He should have done it like this. He didn't do it like this. Therefore, his rule should not go into effect. It didn't go towards the fact, well, one president took away, one can put back. They weren't contesting that. This rule makes it a bit stronger. So I imagine, nonetheless, like if another president wants to take it away, even though it's a regulation, they could take it away. They would just have to, go through the proper procedures. They would have to do a notice period, a comment period, and then after that, they'd be able to take it away. But it would just, take longer. They would have to do more work, etc. So in that sense, it makes DACA a bit stronger. In comparison, let's say, Congress made a law, made something about DACA, it would be stronger there. Yeah, of course, a future Congress could change the law. maybe a court of appeal, federal court, could decide that the law was unlawful. Yeah, that could happen. And it's, pretty much like just the checks and balances, that we learn about in high school, but pretty much just procedurally, it's a bit stronger than an executive order. But in terms of the actual substance, it doesn't change too much. So what should I be aware of in the coming weeks? Community members should be aware that there's still a stop on initial DACA request. So if you're thinking about applying and you want to apply, you can. The only real benefit is just that you're further in line if something changes. That's the only real benefit. If you're wanting to submit it, thinking, yeah, I'm going to get it, think twice about that. If you're wanting to submit it, just because if something does happen, you want to be further up in the line and, spending the $495 isn't too much of a concern, then yeah, it might be worth it to submit it. But other than that, not too much of a real benefit, right? And yeah, of course, you should get a consultation from an immigration attorney. There's nonprofits. Pretty much the thing is just get a consultation to see if there's any other options. For the most part, there's people that know, like, hey, I qualify for a U visa. Hey, maybe this. In some scenarios, there are some hidden things that maybe you didn't know about. Ultimately, the best thing, though, is unless, you already are like an attorney, an accredited rep, or you really know immigration law, it'd still be good to get a consultation just to see, like, hey, if you're missing something, hey, maybe, just to get a proper analysis, right? So yeah, for sure, that would be helpful. And yeah, the best thing is going to be a permanent legislative solution. I'm doubtful that something like that's going to happen anytime soon, especially with, the midterms coming around. I haven't looked at the, polls or anything, but I am doubtful that there will be any big change on immigration. It can happen, but I have reservations on that. So if you learned something about DACA, let me know in the comments. If you want to see more videos on DACA, for example, if you have DACA and if you can get a green card, or if you want to see, the advanced parole experience for me and my wife, you want to know how to fill out your DACA, the videos will be over here on the side somewhere and you can watch that. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you and have a good one.